We're going to get you into, well, your tables is fine. We're going to try and develop an idea that you could implement in your school. So that would be, I know all schools are a little bit different, so what you could do for your school. If you're at a table with someone who's at a different school, maybe you could explain the context and you can share ideas and maybe develop an idea that you could take away. So once we do that, we'll post them around the room. We'll do a bit of a gallery walk and actually share ideas, so you might see someone else and go, oh, I didn't think of that. That could really benefit my school. So that's what we'll do now. Gratia will assist me posting these. I have a scaffolded one, so they're all very similar. So we'll start with our, you got 3. So our project idea, then we'll develop with our driving question, our entry event, and then some potential activities or workshops you could run throughout that project. Again, we're trying to think with the end in mind, so what do you want the students to look like or have the skills by the end of that induction week? So that would be the thing you're trying to think of. What are we going to get them to achieve this goal? Any clarifying questions of what we need to go? No? All good.
Is that just for like community stuff or just like every day?
I was just thinking for community stuff.
Yeah, I would say every day.
I was going to say, because every day will get kind of hectic to keep track of.
Right.
No, I don't like wearing mine. But
we got last year not doing it with all the kids, and then we decided,
Well,
doing your page and washing your hands. That's my list. Maybe I'll add pens after presentation.
So for our project, what we're doing is we're supposed to develop an idea here, right? So we can just use what we've already got. Yeah, so I think we're supposed to put on the Post-it. I know you love Post-its. So our end in mind is already, they're going to present to our director, correct? So,
with a digital presentation.
Yeah, like
digital
a PowerPoint
presentation about themselves. I kind of like the idea about the having like a barbecue thing for the family, and then they can present. They can also
come in and do a presentation showing them how to use Echo, and that never,
right,
until you get in there and use it.
Because too, we could have our older kids, not just have the teachers, but we could have
Mentoring.
our older kids coming in.
That would be really cool.
Okay,
They
so
could, like a facilitator could be introducing the project or whatever's going to happen, but the older kids could come in and work with them more, you know, where the teacher can't get around to work with them all one-on-one. It'd be like, let me help you with that.
So, does that sound like a good?
Yeah.
I mean, is that an idea that, like we were talking about?
especially getting other students involved, that develops the actual school community and the school culture as well, which is good. So,
Okay,
so what are the students going to create? Do you know? Have we got
I
to
don't
that
know
yet?
yet. No, we were just saying at the time, like, because we're a 7-12 high school, grade 7 through 12, so last year was our first year, so all of our students had to go through this at the first year. Last year, nobody knew anything, which was great, but this year, now it's just 7th graders. So it's let the other kids go on and go to class and do their thing, but the 7th graders, we just take time out of the first of school to let them do this project.
Yeah,
All together.
Yeah.
And then maybe like when it's her time to have 7th graders, she comes into the, into the classroom. And when it's her time to have
The
7th
only thing
graders, she comes in.
I'd kind of like which I know it would be difficult because of scheduling, but I still kind of want the 7th graders to move, so they're at least learning the campus too, I think.
Or they could just go to your room and then do a different part.
We did that. We did homeroom teachers actually ran
You're saying
the
whoever's got
different
7th graders
workshops.
at that time,
But we still
they
got
get
them
time
to
to
go
do your next
different
room.
rooms,
Still
but
have
they still had the
You're
same
still
teacher going to
continuing to
those
work
things, so they got to know their
on
homeroom
whatever
teacher.
On
And
this.
And where to go
So you
and when
get
to
all-
go.
day
and-
one,
if you
probably,
get
no
all
matter
teachers
what,
involved,
would
it's
have to
difficult to
be
get the same
everything
message across, so we tried to limit to the 6 teachers that were on the homeroom teachers, so we
Okay.
got this, everyone was
I
on
can
the
see
same
that.
page.
Okay.
Well,
I like
and
that
then
too.
you can be like, well, I don't
And
know
then
what
you
all
kill
y'all
the
did in her
2 birds with one stone, because now they know
Right.
where to go and when to go and who their teachers are and how do I get there? So, okay, so Julie, go for it. How you going?
Is that project out there? Is that timeline?
So it's got to be called something.
Yeah, well, we have to have. What are we gonna have them create?
I think survival week.
Okay.
It's actually awesome.
So the idea is seventh grade.
I love the survival guide.
We'll do their project before their classes start at the first of school.
Yeah, I think so.
Because that's a big thing, because otherwise they would have just started classes with everybody else, but they can't because they don't know.
So it's supposed to look like we're supposed to have a project idea, driving question, entry event, activities and workshops. This is how it's supposed to be lined up.
Okay.
So we have to figure out what are we wanting them to do? Like, what are we wanting them to create?
Man, they need to do all these things. Well, okay, so they did a brochure. We've seen a video. We've seen.
And the
what was that
brochure-
last thing you saw? This was it. This one. Entry event.
That one's a video, no.
Okay, that's the video.
That was
I
number
feel like they won't
3.
need
Website.
apps. The app thing they won't need because we do MacBooks and not the iPads. So
Right, but
sure.
yeah.
This one was a collage of some sort. A PBL collage.
Because we could have them use one specific software just so they got comfortable with it, or they
If you're
could
going to do
use
that, we need to do something that they're going to be
using a lot.
pages, Word, Keynote.
Well, could they not just do like a keynote?
Did
Survival
they
guide on keynote?
do they do that?
They
a lot
have.
in
We did several keynotes in 6th grade, so
Okay.
they're comfortable with keynotes, which would be taking one element out of it. You know, like
it wouldn't
One
be
less
so,
learning.
wouldn't be so scary
because if
to
you
them
think
to-
Echo is open.
Inventories with them, interest inventories. So that, and now our 8th grade, we only have a 7th and 8th grade middle school. The 8th grade is doing something similar, but since they've got a little bit, I mean, some of the kids in there is going to have some information and background since they've gone through it. They're going to make brochures similar to yours that's going to give more information about NTAC itself, and then they're going to present that to the 7th graders to give them more information.
The critics decrease as it goes along, so
Yes,
that's the
of
hardest
course.
thing getting on side.
Yes.
So this year we did a survey after semester 1, and they talked about all the different projects and what they liked.
Oh, of course.
3 kids that said maybe, like it was strongly agree, maybe.
Right.
And there was no disagrees if they disliked it, so it was
Yeah.
definitely working.
Yeah, like when you were going through that list, vocabulary was the first thing that came to mind that we felt, oh, we didn't know it, I think, well enough
Yeah, there was
last
a
year.
video.
We know it so much better this year. We need to do a better job of getting
Which
them
is
to know
why
it.
Now it just
you know?
rolls off the tongue. and
Yes,
becomes
exactly.
everything.
Right.
Do you have assistant directors and things like that? How long does their presentation go for?
I don't think we ever said how long it had to be. I think, was it 5 slides? At least 5
8
slides?
slides.
8 slides.
8 slides, because we had different things, like their norms had to be on one, their interest in learning, and then we had specific things for each one, so.
How logistically, if all parents are there for a barbecue and they got to, do they have like iPads they could present on, or is it?
Well,
Well,
they
they all
have
have-
these,
they
they have
have-
laptops like
laptops.
these.
So they could just
and they
hold it
have
there and
internet
grab it.
access, like at home through these, because there's Sprint access on there, so they can access the internet from anywhere.
So could you run a workshop on mindsets? How did you think about doing that? About how the brain
we're
grows?
going to be doing, I know, some things like the differences between norms and rules.
Yep.
Was definitely one thing that we were going to be doing. And talking about,
Protocols.
yes, and doing some talk about the agency rubric. And, well, what is a rubric also? I mean, they're
Yeah, that's the first one. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
hardest thing. You
Yeah.
try and, well, they need to know that, but they probably need to know what a rubric is first.
Yeah.
How to use it.
And our plan with that is not to show them the whole giant rubric at once. It's kind of like break it down into parts. Wasn't that the plan? That way they're not looking at, like we all did when we first saw all the rubrics, like, wow,
Yeah, I'm not making that one.
that's huge. So and the students, if I remember right, the final presentation, they have a like student choice of whether they're going to do like PowerPoint or Prezi
Interest
or
in
stuff like that.
interest in
So
learning inventory, Heather.
I went the other way and thinking I wanted to limit just because I didn't want learning how to use an app in the iPad like iMovie take over the induction.
Right.
That's
right.
where I went. We have a thing called self-service where you download apps, we get a license and download those apps to them.
Nice.
So I wanted them to actually use that and be exposed to that as well. So.
Well, we were thinking with the different things that we could run workshops, or even have some of the 8th graders that we know from last year that really did well with like a Prezi. They could come in and give like a little workshop for them. That's awesome. So that way it's kind of like a peer thing.
How do the students in your 8th, do they like it?
The 8th grade, the ones that we just had, they loved it. Yeah, they're going up to our high school now. And our 7th graders that we had, the ones that are staying, I mean, they did really well. So.
That's good. I'll leave you to it.
All right,
almost done. A couple of minutes. Or?
Yep.
Once they start using that, it's going to come all the way across. But that's the kind of things that you want to build into your project as the little benchmark. So our first benchmark was how to log on to Echo, how to find your project, and that could be part of your scavenger hunt. Anything that you want them to learn about Echo, build it into the project somehow.
In the context of your school, then you have your school name maybe.
What do you think that your end product might want to be?
Oh, end products. It's a hard thing.
Sometimes it's easy, not always, but sometimes to sort of see where you want them to go and then work backwards and think, okay, well, what steps they're going to need to get there. I mean, if you're saying you want to look at collaboration, let's say is your key point, it's going to be something that they're not working as a group individually and they just bring it together, but it's something that they're working team-based, that what they are doing, they rely on each other basically to get that end finished product.
When it comes down to this, the end product would be actually being able to participate in a product without any assistance from the instructor. I don't know what a finished product of understanding, I guess, is it just PBL or just Echo? Because we did some final products such as doing a travel guide. We had world history, 6th grade, and so we did a travel guide for Africa, for the continent, because you basically is studying all the, the 7 continents in 6th grade. And they did a travel guide, so that was the end product, which included a video, presentation, and physical.
So they looked through the PBL process then, so they would have some sort of understanding of like group work and teams and...
Yeah.
So you want to merge that with the actual Echo itself.
Right.
It's really... What's something that you think that they could... Do you want it to be electronic based or?
I
mean, you said they're fairly new to computers.
Yeah, fairly new.
So you don't want it to be too computer skill based.
Right. I mean, they're more comfortable with presenting physical, either posters or, even giving a presentation. Just really coming together. Almost like you could either do something like a skit. Mock classroom.
Yeah, if you're centering around football, maybe they could do like an advertising campaign for, football. I don't know much about American football clearly, but or something that they could use to help the team. So you've got that external enemy and say, the media department of this team has asked you to have more sponsors or more membership. How can you increase that? And then they could do a poster or they could do some sort of advertising, but something you don't want to spend too much time teaching them how to make videos if they're not that competent just yet with electronic. So that's such a good, if you center around that football sport, you've got so many opportunities because it's not that you have content that you've got to cover, and then you can focus more on your skills base, Echo, how to log in. Their first thing could be a journal, what's their favourite team and why, and just the fact that they've been able to access that and complete it. You've already got that tick that, they're learning how to use Echo.
Oh, okay, I get it. That sounds good. Awesome sauce. All right. I'm sorry if I was supposed to produce something there, because I wasn't gonna. I'm self-conscious about my handwriting anyway, so it's no good.
Excuse me, you've got a basic idea though, so maybe we should just write. Yeah, you're probably a lot better write keynote.
Just so they can get started with that.
Definitely navigating Echo.
Gosh, what do we?
Because they're going to do brief. I mean, like, we're going to say, get to your project brief case. And they're going to be like, what?
Yeah.
There's a good scavenger hunt on the help page, which is good for
like
teachers.
That's
cool.
good because that's another thing you can conquer. You can have a race. You can see who can do it the fastest.
That would be cute to have some like awards too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I modded the activities that I designed. I was sitting there with that next to me, just going and make sure I do this. So.
Right. Yeah.
But the race is a good idea. I'm going to steal that for next year.
They're really competitive, and especially like if you have
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Anything.
You get anything, they'll compete. So we could do, boys against girls, or we could do all kinds of fun stuff with that.
And this group is highly competitive.
They really are. So, okay, so if we, so we'll take care of the scheduling, and I'm looking at our list there of where everything is, because they're going to go through their schedules as we do the project.
Yeah, that would be great.
Specific software in Echo, we'll just start out like with the keynote workshop, and we've got our scavenger hunt, new tech terminology, which you said we can build that into our
Video and get them to breadcrumb throughout that video, challenge them on certain areas.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys do specific activities to try to help them, or they just had to research?
So I should share the page. So the first, for example, their first day, so we do have 3 periods of 100 minutes. So that last period was their first thing was you're going to submit a journal. So that journal says, what are your first impressions of Parramatta Marist? What are, who do the people you met? What are the teachers? And just get them to, and then they had to submit that. So that was our way of going, this is what a journal is, this is what you generally use a journal for.
So they're actually getting in there and using it.
Yeah, so they're not just saying, this is what kind of like a journal looks like. They're, I need to do this because I've been told I need to complete this.
Right.
And just talk about what is going on.
So really, if we can model or let them experience the terminology, whatever it is, whatever keywords it is we left in the video, then they actually get to do those things or experience those things.
Yeah. One task was they had to create a Google Doc in their Google Drive, make sure they share it with the right people and upload that as well. So that different activities that force them to use Echo.
Okay.
They think they're
I can
learning
see
as they
them
go.
having to use the Google Doc to like put their ideas on how they're gonna, like brainstorming ideas with each other within their group.
They can do that. You could use Google Drive, because we've got Google Drive and electronic organization, so they can use Google Drive to, you want to write that down, I guess? For the next video?
Yep. It's coming along good. So we'll go another 2 minutes and then we'll... No, I wonders. I've already given you mine, so that's why I didn't put it on there. I like it.